Hi everyone, this is Pamela and welcome to my channel. Today I would like just to talk about this, which is something that I have always come into my mind, and it's why were women back in the 50s and in the 60s were able just to get married being underage. And to me that was something that it makes me think and wonder, and of course it's really obvious as the society was different, and getting married was the goal, especially for women, as there were no rights for the women to work and all of the stuff. And I remember that I knew when I was a teenager that my grandmother actually got married with my grandfather when he was 40 and she was 15. So nowadays it's like he could go to jail because that's a predator basically. But back in the days, that was so normal and so acceptable, as the fact that the only goal for the women was just build a home, and no matter, when they started. But that was actually the reality back then. And as you see, for example, there in the video, you see that the women were the one who were in the kitchen, they were the one who were taking care of their family, and that was basically what they were trained for. And there were not many opportunities for women back then. And it caught my attention is because of the double standards of these old ladies sometimes, because they see these for example, the teenagers, when they try to like older boys, and they get so impressed about it, when the reality is that they were not doing nothing different. In fact, they were doing something which today will be considered worse, because they were getting out of their homes and just to build their own homes when they were still children basically. And it was more acceptable, I guess, because of the context, which is really obvious, of the fact that that was the only opportunity that women had back then. So to go more serious and understand why underage marriage was more acceptable for women in the 50s and the 60s, we need to step back into story. During this time, traditional gender roles were deeply ingrained in society, with clear expectations for men and women. Surprisingly, the legal age for marriage varied widely across different regions and cultures. While some areas had laws specifying a minimum age, others lacked such regulation, leaving room for interpretation. Beyond legalities, economic pressures played a significant role. Many women face limited career opportunities and financial dependence on men. Marriage was often seen as a means of security and stability, especially in a society where women's primary role was expected to be of a homemaker and mother. And additionally, society attitudes towards women's autonomy and agency in marriage cannot be overlooked. The prevailing notion was that women's ultimate fulfillment lay in marriage and motherhood, such as marrying young was not only acceptable but sometimes even romanticized as the ideal path for women. However, the consequences of marrying young were often profound. Many women sacrificed educational and career opportunities, limiting their potential for personal growth and self-fulfillment. Moreover, entering into marriage at a young age meant assuming adult responsibilities before one was emotionally or psychologically prepared, which leads to a lot of marriages where there were a lot of histories of abuse, there were a lot of histories of unhappiness for all of these conditions that I was describing. Fortunately, times have changed, and societal attitudes toward marriage and gender roles have evolved significantly since the 50s and the 60s. Today, there is a growing recognition of the importance of women's autonomy and agency in decision making, including the choice of when and whom to marry. So I'm going with this question about, today's society. Do you think that there are things that we need to keep from the 50s and the 60s? Is everything better today? Why do you think so? So if you like the video, I would like you to subscribe into my channel if you haven't done it yet, to give me a like, and especially to share it to somebody that you think might be interested in watching. So see you next time. Bye bye.